Welcome to Redefine You Season 5. I'm Dan Baum. Over the last few years, this podcast has been a place to share powerful stories of redefinition and lightning strike moments, and to learn and grow with one another through adversity and change, even through a global pandemic. This season, to close out the college's 60th anniversary, we invited members of the community, past and present, to join us in sharing their favorite AACC memories. Be sure to check out all of this season's episodes, available now for your binge listening pleasure. In this episode, we revisit a friend of the podcast, Cleveland Smith, recently retired from AACC's Department of Public Safety and Police. If you'd like to hear more from Cleveland, you'll find him in Redefine You episode 27, The Golden Rule. How are you, Cleveland?
Very well, thank you.
Well, let's go ahead and jump in. So tell me, what's your favorite AACC memory?
Well, I'm not sure. It's hard to pick just one. I've had been here about 16 years, Dan, and had a lot of time to reflect on different things. And that's sort of a tough question to just one favorite memory. But if I could summarize, I would say 16 commencements. I think about all the commencements, and really that's the pinnacle of what we come to Arundel Community College for, is to get some kind of degree or certificate. And being here all year and a couple of years, and you kind of almost get to see and know the students as they go through their task. And then come May, to see them get their degree and certificates, it's almost like a part of me to see that. And also the growth that the college has gone through over the past few years. And I'm just talking 16, not the whole 60. But of course, when we started, we were having commencements in a tent on the field that has now has AStroTurf. Then we moved the tent to the practice fields, and then we moved the whole procedure, the whole ceremony, into the Maryland Live. So we had a couple commencements there, and then of course the pandemic. So we had the commencement that goes around Ring Road.
That was our car-mencement.
Car-mencement. Car-mencement. That's what it was. But I've got to participate in two of those. So it's been really an experience and interesting to see. And that's my favorite memories, I think, ultimately, is to see the people achieve their goals with the Arundel Community College.
Well, I have to tell you how crushed I am that you're retiring, Cleveland. One of my favorite memories is around commencement. It was my first year here. I probably told you this before. It was at the tent on the practice fields outside, and you were one of the first people I saw, and we just started talking about the college and what it's meant to you, and how you had been a county police officer and found that when you walked around with your uniform, sometimes people weren't so friendly, and what a positive thing to be out in the community when you run into people, you're wearing AACC gear. You really impressed upon me that night, and it's just stayed with me ever since.
Especially, I went to a pet store to buy dog food, but I was in a blazer, and the lady behind the counter started saying, "Oh, you work for Arundel Community College?" "Oh, yeah. And they did so much for my girls, and they came, and me too, and we did this, and we graduated, and they're doing this," and I'm standing there, I'm trying to check out, and the line's getting longer and longer, and people are kind of like, well, I'm like, "Yes, ma'am." So it was wonderful to be recognized like that. It was almost embarrassing, but yes, people will definitely, you can't go, talk about 6 degrees of separation in Anne Arundel Community College. You can hardly go anywhere, and you're going to run into somebody who has some connection with the college. So,
well, you impressed that upon me that night at the commencement, just, noting all these people who are graduating and they're going out in the community and the impact we have. And it's just stayed with me ever since. Share about someone you met through AACC who had an impact on you.
That's another tough one, because I thought about that, and it's not fair to say one person. I mean, it could be one, but for me, when I think about it, it takes a village. Once again, it's the whole community. Of course, my co-workers directly here in the Department of Public Safety, but also the faculty and staff that I work with, that we've worked with over the years. And of course, there are the students and vendors that we work with and we've established relationships with. And it's just a wonderful place to work. You know, the saying that you're not an interruption to my day, you're the reason for my day. And that's what I think about when I come to college, come to work all the time. It's a good thing. And I get a little emotional about it sometimes.
That's because you put the unity in community.
We do. It's not. That's true. And we all do. And it's fun to say, and it really makes a difference. In that regard, I've seen how the college has grown internally and how departments, we've busted down silos. We've progressed through cooperation within the college and externally throughout the community. So we have put the unity in community, and it's ongoing. It's a process. It's not an event, and it's a journey. It's not the destination. It's ongoing. So it's a wonderful thing.
Well, I'm sure I speak for others as well as for me that one of the impacts is when you send out your notes, because you always have a real positive, either a great saying like putting the unity in community, or you have a poem or any of those things. So that's always fun. How has being part of the AACC community redefined you?
It continues to redefine me, and every day it does. All kinds of things, from the coaching experience. And even if I'm not an actual coach per se, I try to be coach-like, because there's so many good things about being coach-like, whether you're helping someone else or you're helping yourself for your professional life or your personal life. Just to see the good in people and how much we can accomplish when we're on the same page, when we're all singing the same song. We can get stuff done, and it happens frequently. Sometimes somebody gets off the page, but we all get back on the page. We're superstars. We're hitting and sticking like Popeye chicken. We're too legit to quit.
There you go again. Maybe we did this when you did the Redefine You podcast with me, but I just want to ask again, what drew you to coaching in the first place?
It made sense. And of course, the instructors, I knew Jen anyway, and for her to be an instructor, that was cool. I'd love to sit in a class with Jen, and the coworkers, the people that I ended up being on a team with, become like family almost. You know more about people, even afterwards, and the subsequent pods, and as yourself. I mean, there's a bond there that I feel, even if I need to talk to you about something, I could. I mean, it's hard to explain. It's one of those things that unless you experience it, you really can't explain it. You have to experience it. Kind of like seeing Niagara Falls or watching a postcard of it. It's one thing to look at the postcard, but when you see it, you're in awe. And that's kind of what coaching, that's what Arundel Community College is like, Niagara Falls. You have to experience it to truly appreciate it.
So well said. What you just expressed is so true for a lot of people, is a particular instructor, in this case, Jen, but it could be any number of instructors. Oh, I want to work with that person. And then when you do, and you get that experience, and then the experience with others in the classroom or in the team, is you create this bond, this kind of family. So, yeah. Well, you're a big part of this family, Cleveland. Wow. I'm getting choked up too. Hate to see you go, man. It's been fun.
Absolutely. And I wouldn't trade it. I'm thankful, you know?
Yeah. Good.
What is it? Gratitude, attitude?
You got it. You always have an attitude of gratitude. I have never seen you with anything but an attitude of gratitude.
Well, you know, sometimes we forget, or I forget, and different things come along to help remind me, but I'm just thankful.
Great. Well, thank you for taking the time. I'm thankful for you to coming in here, and certainly enjoyed when we did the podcast. And so this has been good.
Absolutely. Thank you for everything.
Thank you for joining us for this special season of Redefine You, celebrating AACC's 60th anniversary. We hope this season inspires you to think about your own favorite AACC moments. How has being a part of this community, near or abroad, as a student, faculty or staff member, parent or friend, redefined you? Redefine You is a production of Arundel Community College. Our executive producer is Allison Baumbush, and our producer is Jeremiah Pravat. Others who help with this podcast include Amanda Behrens, Angie Hamlet, Ben Pierce, and Alicia Renahan. Special thanks to all our guests for sharing their stories. Subscribe, find show notes, and other extras on our website, aacc.edu/podcast. I'm your host and creator of this podcast, Dan Baum. Thanks for listening.